Reframing self-discipline and cultivating virtues. What if everything you thought about self-discipline was actually backward? Most people think self-discipline means suppressing desires and forcing yourself to do things you hate. But that's not what true self-discipline is about at all. Self-discipline isn't about stifling desires. It's about redirecting them gently into more productive direction. Think about it. Our desires and emotions provide motion. They give us energy to act. The problem isn't having desires. It's letting them pull us toward things that don't serve our deeper purposes. When you spend hours scrolling social media, you're not lacking discipline. You're wasting a good desire to know things on content that won't help you grow. True self-discipline redirects that curiosity toward reading literature or learning something meaningful. This reframing changes everything. Instead of seeing discipline as deprivation, see it as liberation. It's giving your desires better outlets. It's choosing the deeper satisfaction over the quick hit of dopamine. And here's what's beautiful. When you struggle with discipline, of course you do, you're actually trying to develop many different virtues without realizing it. The key is to focus on just one specific type at a time. Did you know there's a precious set of habits that humans are predisposed to develop? And they make all the difference between flourishing and merely surviving. While most habit books focus on how to develop any habit, they miss something crucial: which habits actually matter most. Super habits are capacities you already have inside you waiting to be activated. Think of them like muscles you didn't know you had. Every one of us has within us the muscle for courage, for self-discipline, for wisdom. They just need to be exercised. The ancient Greeks and Romans identified about 50 of these virtues or super habits that comprise human excellence. And the truly exciting part? Any problem you face in life can be addressed by cultivating the appropriate virtue. When you practice one aspect of a virtue, you're strengthening that entire muscle. If you practice restraint by waiting 24 hours before making impulse purchases, you're not just getting better at shopping. You're developing restraint itself, which transfers to every area of your life. Regular habits make you better at specific tasks. Habits make you better at being human. Would you believe that human excellence can be mapped as precisely as human anatomy? For centuries, we've had a complete map of virtues hiding in plain sight. And this isn't just philosophical theory, it's a practical framework for living well. There are 4 cardinal virtues that form the foundation: prudence, justice, fortitude, and temperance. Think of them as the primary colors from which all other virtues are mixed. Prudence governs our thoughts and decisions. Justice guides our interactions with others. Fortitude helps us move forward despite fear. And temperance, or self-discipline, helps us manage our desires. Why these 4? Because they map perfectly to daily life. Each day consists of thoughts, actions, and feelings. The feelings divide into attractions and repulsions, fears. So the 4 virtues correspond exactly to these 4 aspects of human experience. What's fascinating is that the best way to develop these virtues is in the reverse order. Start with self-discipline. Without it, you are at the mercy of whatever passion grabs you in the moment. Once you have some self-discipline, develop courage, because otherwise the first obstacle will stop you. Then focus on justice, how you serve others. Finally, develop practical wisdom to make good decisions. Every virtue represents a golden mean between 2 extremes. Self-discipline isn't about denying all pleasures. That would be joyless austerity. It's about finding the middle ground between overindulgence and excessive restraint. What if the personality tests we love are actually limiting our growth? There's a dangerous confusion happening in our culture between personality and character, and it's keeping many of us from becoming who we could be. Personality assessments tell us our tendencies and preferences. They identify our strengths and weaknesses. And that's valuable information. But here's the problem. They implicitly suggest this is just who you are. They encourage us to lean into our strengths and not worry too much about our weaknesses. But character is something entirely different. Character is made up of virtues, habits of excellence that anyone can develop. Your character is completely malleable. Any aspect of it can be updated at any time. When someone says, "I'm just not a disciplined person," or "I'm not naturally courageous," they're confusing personality with character. It would be like saying, I don't have cardiovascular capacity while refusing to exercise. Of course, you can develop discipline. Of course, you can become more courageous. This distinction offers tremendous hope. You're not limited by what you were born with. You can develop any virtue you need. Your personality might be relatively fixed, but your character is yours to shape. The positive psychology movement sometimes calls virtues character strengths, implying some are naturally stronger than others. But that misses the point. These aren't strengths, they're habits of excellence anyone can acquire. Don't just play to your strengths, fix what needs fixing. Can ancient virtues really help with modern problems like social media addiction and impulsive shopping? Absolutely, and they're more relevant now than ever. Let me share a few practical examples of virtues that directly address today's challenges. First, there's restraint, the ability to resist trivial or petty temptations. This is perfect for our age of constant distraction. It's what helps you pause before making an impulse purchase or posting an angry comment. Even small practices help develop this virtue. Try waiting 24 hours before buying anything online, and you'll strengthen your restraint muscle. Then there's diligence, properly channeling your curiosity and desire to know. The key insight here? You develop diligence not through forced discipline, but by falling in love with your subject. Focus on why something interests you or how it could help others. That intrinsic motivation is far more powerful than extrinsic pressure. Orderliness is another crucial virtue, ensuring you do the most important things first rather than whatever you feel like doing. But beware of the extreme, compulsively following your to-do list without flexibility for human relationships. Perhaps most countercultural is the virtue of leisure, called eutropelia in Greek. This is spending time doing something purely for the love of it, not for achievement. It's necessary for mental rest. Our minds are problem-solving machines that only truly rest when engaged in something that has no problem to solve, just pure enjoyment. The test? If you could push a magic button and get all the benefits without doing the activity, would you? If yes, it's not true leisure, it's just another means to an end. What if you could develop character with the same scientific precision that elite athletes develop physical skills? You can, and it's simpler than you might think. Here's how to actually implement virtue development in your life. First, select the right virtue to work on. Don't try to develop all 50 at once. Look at your current challenges and identify which virtue would most help address them. Are you struggling with impulse control? Focus on restraint. Finding it hard to stick with difficult tasks? Work on perseverance. Once you've selected a virtue, start small. Any practice that exercises that virtue will strengthen it. And here's the beautiful part. Unlike specific habits that only make you better at one thing, practicing any form of a virtue strengthens the entire virtue. It's like a transferable skill. Regular reflection is crucial. Check in with yourself. Which virtues need attention right now? This isn't about picking one virtue and hammering away at it forever. It's about fine-tuning a little more foresight here, a bit more courage there. Remember that virtues are always the middle path between two extremes. Self-discipline isn't about restraining every desire. That's joyless austerity. It's about finding the sweet spot between overindulgence and excessive restraint. Finally, learn from others. Look for people who exemplify the virtue you're working on. How do they do it? What can you learn from them? Virtue development is a communal activity, not just an individual pursuit. Takeaways and tips. Start by identifying which desire underlies your struggle with discipline. Ask yourself, what deeper need am I trying to meet with this behavior? Choose a more meaningful channel for that same desire. Focus on developing one virtue at a time based on your current needs. Remember that practicing any form of a virtue strengthens the entire virtue. Schedule regular reflection to assess which virtues need attention. Recognize that virtues are always the middle path between two extremes. Find role models who exemplify the virtues you want to develop. Trust that small, consistent efforts will compound over time. Use personality assessments for insight, but don't let them limit your growth. Make time for true leisure, something you do even if it accomplished nothing. Remember, these aren't abstract ideals, they're practical solutions to everyday challenges. And the best part, you already have everything you need inside you. These virtues are simply waiting to be activated.